Good evening, everyone, and welcome into episode 24 of the Forge Podcast. My name is Ryan Messer, and this is brought to you by Shotgun Sports Network Alabama of the Shotgun Sports Network. Happy New Year, everyone. We've got a lot to get into. The Bulls had a full week this past week. The Squadron had a pair of games here in Birmingham, and the Stallions had a few transactions, and the schedule was released for the UFL. A few other things as well to dive into, but before we get too far, I want to thank you guys for whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, or if you're following us or listening to us on iHeart, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're finding us podcast. We want to show our appreciation. We want to actually do what we can to improve. So if you can just hit that like and share if you really like what you see. If you want something changed or altered, or if there's something more you want, let us know. Shoot us a comment, shoot us a direct message, whatever it may be. But make sure you are following us. Those notifications are turned on, and so you don't miss anything because we're posting stuff all the time because the UFL season's about to ramp up. The MILB season's about not too far away as well. And we've just got a lot going on right now with the Bulls and the Squadron as well, kicking, just getting warmed up. So, we also have to say thank you to Blue Spring. They keep us hydrated. They have been for a year now, and they want to keep you hydrated as well because, I mean, who doesn't want water that is bottled right at the source, right up the road in Blount County, Alabama? So make sure you take a step toward a healthier life with Blue Spring Living Water. You can get it at your local grocer, or you can get it delivered right to your door. Just make sure you go to bluespringlivingwater.com for more information on that. And with that, this is episode 24 of the Forge Podcast. Starting things off with the Birmingham Bulls, there were a few transactions this past week, as on New Year's Eve we saw Tobias Ojic placed on a 14-day IR. Then Kip Ledzianko was called up to ECHL Kalamazoo. And then we traded Pensacola for Alex Plant. So we also saw on the 3rd that we signed right winger Elijah Wilson as McGregor Sinclair was called up to ECHL Idaho. We also got to talk to Hayden Stewart this past weekend at the game on Saturday, and he said that turf toe is still kind of bothering him. So we're not sure when he's going to be able to be back to kind of help out Lotzie. Davidson did play one game this week, and we'll talk about that up here in just a minute, but was not a great showing, so it'd be great to get Stewie back in that net to help out Lotzie a little bit. Then on the game, as far as the games go, on New Year's Eve, we wound up taking on the Knoxville Ice Bears up there. Things started off with Taylor Joseph in the net for the Ice Bears. And then Daniel Davidson was in for the Bulls. So, like I said, this is the game I was saying. The Ice Bears got things going early with a goal just 4:43 into the first period. Then when they went back and scored again just right at the 11-minute mark of the first period as well. Coming right out of the first intermission, McGregor St. Clair, just 26 seconds into the game, wound up finding the net. And then Nikita Kozarev wound up finding the net himself just 7 minutes later. But they wound up answering back just a minute and 37 seconds later. And then coming out of second intermission, the Ice Bears wound up scoring again just 1:29 into the third period. 5 minutes later, Drake Glover found the net himself, but that was just all we were able to get. But the Ice Bears were able to score again about midway through the final period, and they also hit the empty net with just 1:42 to play in regulation. So just a rough showing there for the Bulls. I know it's easy to blame the goalie, but um, we're we're kind of hurt right now. So um, haven't been seeing Carson Rose lately. Not sure what's going on there. Um, kind of nervous to ask, but I'll have to find that out if we don't see him soon. On Friday, January the 3rd, we saw the Pensacola Ice. We went down to Pensacola to take on the Ice Flyers. The game started with Brody Clays in the net for the Ice Flyers and Lottie in for the Bulls. The game started off with the Bulls on a power play for a hold just 2:24 into the game. Colton Olnick did capitalize on it just less than halfway through the power play. The Ice Bears did answer back just 42 seconds later, and then Troy McTavish wound up finding the net 8:25 into the period. Phil Ledzianko wound up scoring just a minute 21 later. And then Nikita Kozarev, just past the 11-minute mark, wound up scoring himself. They did answer back with just 2 minutes left in the opening period. And then Elijah Wilson opened up the second period, getting charged with a hook at the 4-minute mark. 7 minutes later, Drake Glover found himself in the box for a hook as well. They did capitalize on that one, however, just 12 minutes seconds into the penalty kill. The Bulls went on the power play with just 3 minutes left in the second period for a cross check. But the Bulls were able to milk the entire third period without incident to win 4-3. So kind of started off really strong there and then just let them come back. Kind of made me nervous because there were some shots that almost got in to tie the game, and it's just kind of struggle there when you don't have an extra goal there, to make sure that there's nothing they can do to come back. Then on Saturday the 4th, the game started out with Brody Clays. They actually came back here. It was Pensacola again coming back here. Brody Clays in the net for the Flyers, and then Lottie for the Bulls. The Bulls started off the night with on the power play again for a high stick, just 5:37 into the opening period. Phil Ledzianko was able to capitalize on that. Just 2 seconds left in the power play, and then they did answer back just a minute and 24 later. Clays came off with just 3.5 left to play in the opening period. But due to Troy McTavish tripping 8 seconds later, he almost immediately returned. As time expired in the first period, Nikita Kozarev got tied up with Caden Cahill of the Pensacola in the Pensacola crease, and both were charged with roughing. Just kind of crazy there. And then while they were doing some of the intermission activities out on the ice, they wound up some of their guys were still on the ice. So not sure what was going on there, but it was a little peculiar for sure after what had gone down. Coming out of the first intermission, however, the Ice Flyers did score just past the 1 minute mark of the second period. Just 1.5 minutes later, Kyler Matthews found himself in the box for a trip. They didn't capitalize on that, but they did score just 5 minutes later. The Bulls went on the power play with 7 minutes left to play in the second, and Drake Glover capitalized on that with 21 seconds left in that power play. Then Kyler Matthews was charged with a high stick just a minute later. And in the third period, the Ice Flyers did score again right at the 13-minute mark. And the Bulls did go on to pull lots as when they went on the power play for a roughing with just under 3 to play. But instead of capitalizing on that, the Flyers did get the shorthanded empty net goal, sealing it for Pensacola 5-2. Right now, the Bulls are sitting in sixth place with, hey, this is still Shotgun Sports Network Alabama, so gotta say, Huntsville Havoc number 1. Hey, I mean, I can't be too mad, but still, the Bulls are in sixth place. The Huntsville is in first place. Peoria in second, and Fayetteville Marksmen are in third. The upcoming games, they face Evansville at home Friday and Saturday, so make sure you get out there. And then they head up to Knoxville on Sunday to face the Ice Bears. In other news of the SPHL, still kind of local, they did make a deal with Gray Media, so certain Bulls games are going to be played on Gulf Coast Entertainment and Sports. It is a WBRC sub channel. You can get it using a digital antenna. You can go to Walmart or whatever, get one for $10-15, but you can catch the games there. So that's great to see for have it on TV. But I do like what My 68 is doing, and they are sharing the Squadron games and it switching over to the Squadron. They did face the Motor City Cruise last time we aired, and that game kind of a little bit rough. The squad did jump out to an 8-0 lead early, but the Crews quickly caught up and took the lead. The squad was down by 15 at the end of the first, and then early in the second, we wound up cutting the lead down to 3, but that did not last long as they rebuilt their lead to 11 by the half. Then the second half was much worse as they wound up falling by over 20 at the end of the game, 122 to 101. Even in the loss, they were 7 squadron players in double digits. Then Sunday, they wound up going up to Maine to take on the Celtics. They kept it close in the opening minutes, going back and forth, and the Celtics did get up by 8 midway through the end of the first quarter. But then the Squadron wound up cutting the lead to 1 by the end of the half. Coming out of halftime, the Squadron did jump out to a 8-point lead themselves, growing it up to 11 by the midway point of the third period. But the Celtics quickly regroup and wound up retaking the lead there. The squad could not retake it, falling to the Celtics by 13 of a score of 103 to 90. Crutcher and Quinones did both score double-doubles on the loss, however. So, these guys are still, they're trying. They're still scoring. But the thing is, they're not scoring where it matters. They're if they are not 30% or higher from behind the arc, they're not winning that game. They've been struggling there recently, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So I know Matkovic's not with the team right now. I know he's back up with New Orleans, so we'll have to see what goes on and how things go with the Squadron. As far as the standings, Birmingham is currently sitting at 1-2 and in 15th place in the Eastern Conference of the NBA G League. This week they are actually tonight they are taking on the new and up in New York, taking on the Long Island Nets. Then Friday and Saturday they are taking on Capital City Go Go. So at the Legacy Arena at the BJCC. So make sure you guys get out there. Go to either one or the other, the Bulls or the Squadron, Friday and Saturday. Don't I know there's some weather that might kind of uh, put a risk on that, but we'll have to see if it is not as bad. If it's just a rainy day, just please go out there. Just be safe and make sure you support the Squadron and the Bulls. On switching over to the Stallions, uh, we got some unfortunate news this past week as Zach Potter, the GM for the Birmingham Stallions for the past 4 years, might as well say 4 years, um, went to Sacramento State to be their GM. They are working hard and investing a lot of money right now to get to be a Power Five conference team, and they are not sparing a dime. They are spending a lot of money in NIL. They are spending a lot of money in front office and coaching. So they were set to hire former Elks interim GM G. Roy Simmons, uh, and he was offered the job. Wound up getting offered a job at his alma mater at Maryland on the 30th. So he wound up taking that. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a GM of the place that you played wide receiver at? So, I mean, I understand it, but shout out to Scout for taking our GM since G. Roy Simmons originally came from his team over at the Elks Herd. But when that was finalized on the 30th, the Sac State announced on New Year's Eve that Zach Potter would be joining them, and we found out the 30th when that was going to go down. Coach Holtz recently was on three-man front on Friday, and he mentioned that he's going to be missed. He did say he wishes them the best. That he was blessed to have him for 4 years, and as long as he did, but and he was a core piece to bringing talent into this team, this organization. He said that this opportunity allows him to get more well-rounded and to have experience in college and pros to evaluate where he wants to go while he's still pretty young. And that he wound up starting out as an intern in the back room of the USFL, getting everyone's coffee and all. So pretty cool how fast that he shot up through the ranks and got to be where he is. But gonna be missed. We really appreciate what he has done, and like I said, wish him the best. As far as transactions, last Monday, we signed defensive end Majay Sanders from Cincinnati. He was third round pick by Arizona in 22, where he spent 1.5 seasons before getting released and picked up immediately by Houston, then released last April. I know he had a couple injuries. Hopefully that won't bother him too much here, and we can get him tied in and get him in a good place there. On Thursday, all UFL tight end Jay Sternberger announced that he was coming back. He was, like I said, he was all UFL. He's a very passionate tight end, very athletic, he's one of the core leaders in this team. So, and also he roomed with Matt Corral last year. So if it comes down to it, I know it was released today that Adrian Martinez did sign a futures deal with the I think the Jets. So it's not, it looks like it's going to be Matt Corral. So they roomed together last year. So I know they've got a great relationship. So um, it's be great. Can't wait to see him back on that field in the Stallions uniform. Then we also, the same day, it was announced that former Stallions tight end back in 2023, LaMichael Petway, is coming back. So he was a big part of that 2023 USFL championship team. So great to see him back on the team. On Thursday, the Stallions did announce the 2025 UFL schedule. So you can see the graphic right here. On week 1, the Stallions will be headed up to the nation's capital to take on the DC Defenders at 2 p.m. on Sunday the 30th. So, and it will be shown on ESPN. A lot of people are upset that that game was not, we were not chosen to be the first game of the season, but I'm okay with it. We got a lot of Friday games, so I'm not too worried about the Friday games. Week 2, Friday, April the 4th at 7 p.m., we will be taking on Michigan Panthers in Detroit. So that one will be shown on Fox. Then we get on week 3, the first home game. It will be Red Rain Night, Friday, April 11th at 7 p.m., taking on the Arlington Renegades. So make sure, they're going to be celebrating the championship team from last season. So make sure you wear all red. It's going to be a complete red out. So make sure you dress in red for that one. And they're going to be, of course, probably releasing another banner and do a trophy presentation. So, by the way, I love that trophy. It is heavy, though. It's nice, though. It's a really nice. I really like this trophy. It's going to be shown on Fox as well. So, but make sure you guys get out there because it's going to be a good night. I know there's going to be some issues with these Friday games. We'll talk about the Friday games a little bit later. I know there's some pros and cons there, so we'll take a deep dive into the Friday games a little bit shortly. Week 4, Saturday, April the 19th. At 6 p.m., we will be at Houston taking on the Roughnecks. And they're actually playing at University of Houston's football stadium. And it's actually a pretty nice stadium from what I've heard. So, and it will be shown on Fox. So, there's your excuse to watch it on Fox. But on week 5, that will be rodeo night. So the description is dust off those boots and get rowdy. And cowboy hats are encouraged. So dressed in your Western wear, week 5. So it's going to be taking on the Memphis Showboats on Friday, April the 25th at 7 p.m. And then it will also be shown on Fox. Week 6, it will be Sunday, the May the 4th at 3 p.m. Taking on the Brahmas of San Antonio. And this will be school spirit night. So make sure you wear whatever Alabama, Auburn, UAB, maybe your high school, whatever, school pride. Make sure you wear, appropriate wear there. And then it will also be shown on Fox. Week 7 will be the Houston Roughnecks will be coming to town. It will be Friday, May the 11th at 11 a.m. Sunday, May the 11th at 11 a.m. I know that everybody said that that's going to be a rough time there for people, of faith that go to church or wherever they worship, their place of worship. Because usually that's early in the morning on Sundays or whenever. But I mean, we'll have to see about that one. Hopefully, we have a good crowd taking on the Roughnecks. They're redoing their team. They've got from what I'm seeing, got a semi decent turnaround from what they're gonna have. I know I said last year that Michigan or Memphis was gonna look really good, but I'm really seeing Houston making a run for it this year. And this one will actually be shown on ABC. So it's one of the two games on ABC. And that's also going to be Faith, Family, and Football night. So, or day. So, week 8, Saturday, the week 8 is going to be Saturday, the May the 17th. They are going to be at up in St. Louis, taking on the Battlehawks, and that one will be shown on Fox, and it will be at noon. So that's a noon kick for that one. Then week 9, back home for our last home game. It will be Saturday, May the 24th at 2 p.m., taking on the Michigan Panthers. And then it will be shown on ABC. It will be Hats Off to Heroes night or afternoon there for that one. Then week 10, wrapping it all up with on Sunday, June the 1st at 2 p.m., taking on the Memphis Showboats up in Memphis at the Liberty Bowl. That one will be shown on Fox as well. So my evaluation for this, Friday night games are really good for TV and for locals. I think, Friday night, people like, during the fall, they like going out Friday night lights to high school, all that. But I think it's really good for that. But, not really great for people that are out of town that don't, try to get in and try to get off work and try to make it to the games, have to go get their kids and all of that. But it's going to be it's an experiment that the league's trying to do. So we'll have to see how that goes through the season. All late. The only thing I don't like is all of the late games, late home games, are early in the season. Kind of cooler at night in those, early games there. But the biggest thing is a lot of people complained about the heat throughout the midday games late in the season last year. I know that there's a lot of teams here in the South now. So there's 3 teams in Texas. They were trying to take that into account. There's the Memphis game. There's Memphis Showboats. And then you got us. So it's going to be, St. Louis gets hot too. So not sure where all that's coming from, but I know it's going to be kind of rough there. I'm not sure a lot of people are excited about those. So, but overall, just can't wait to get it going. Ready for the season to get here. Stoked to get it going because season 2 of UFL, season 4 of the Stallions, getting ready to show the teams what we've got, what we're reloading with, and what new pieces Zach Potter found before he left. And he really did leave us in a good spot because, most of the postseason or the off season is over with. So, I mean, camp starts in what a little over a month or so. So maybe 2 months. So it don't matter. I can't wait to get it going. Um, in closing, just got a big weekend this weekend. There's a lot going on. I know there's some weather coming through, but it's a full weekend on Friday and Saturday. Both the Bulls and the Squadron are playing at home. If you can't make it to the game because of the weather or whatever, just stay safe. But if it does kind of, turn out to be just a little bit of rain or whatever, please try to make it out to these games in a safe manner. Because, I mean, it's real sports in your hometown. Got to go get it. So it's almost time for the Barons and UFL to get started with their seasons. I know I've been seeing Future Sox posting a lot of things. I'd like to get in touch with those guys, but UFL, I just announced all the signings, just released the schedule. Things are ramping up, and then we are also trying to keep you updated with latest roster and score updates through the weeks. But as for this week, I appreciate you guys. Have a good night. See you guys next week.